Welcome back. Now we are going to deal with the chapter 11, subject physics of class 10th. It is related to the human eye and the colorful world. You know, human eyes, how important for our day-to-day life. Without eye, we can't see anything. We have a information about the surrounding through this visual aids, gift of the nature. This human eye is actually, in terms of physics or the branch of physics, that is optics, is just like a camera. Camera is a physical optical device that can form real and inverted image of the object on the screen, that is the photographic plate. In the same way, eye is also a natural camera which forms the real and inverted image of the object in front of the eyes. What is the special feature of these eyes that makes us able to see the object? Eye is almost a spherical ball like a structure which has a complicated composition. See here, this is the vertical section of the eyes, and here it is the front view of an eye. What is the front view? See here, if we see the outer structure of the eye, we find various common parts of the eyes. This is the eyelid. Just behind the eyelid there is a white triangular structure or a spindle shaped structure. In the mid of this white structure there is a round black structure. This part is called, the white part of the eyes which is seen from outside is called a sclera. Now the black part of the eyes is composed of actually two things. The outermost covering is called cornea. The outermost covering is called cornea. So this is cornea, which is not observed from outside because it is transparent. Behind the cornea, see here, this is a disc-like structure, almost dark brown or black or sometimes it may be of different colors. It is due to the presence of some sort of pigments, and this disc is called iris. In the mid of this iris there is a small hole which is known as pupil. Cornea covers the iris from outside and allows the light to pass into or inside the eyes. The iris is internally attached with a flexible muscular fiber called ciliary muscles. Ciliary muscles. So the ciliary muscles allows the iris to be contract or expand so that the size of the pupil may increase or decrease. It is due to the fact that we do not require much more light or even the dim light. So if the amount of light is much more than the normal, then iris gets contract and the size of the pupil get reduced. Due to this, the amount of light passing into the eyes get reduced. On the other hand, if there is a very short of light intensity, means when there is when the light is very dim, then we need more light to see the object, and for this purpose the iris get expand, as a result of which the size of the pupil gets widened. So it allows more light to pass into the eyes. So this is the outermost structure of eye. Now let us come to the vertical section of the eyeball. In this section, the black outermost covering, that is cornea, is here. Inside the cornea there is a space filled with gelatinous liquid, transparent liquid known as aqueous humor. And behind this aqueous humor the iris is present. Iris is there, and behind the iris this is the space where the aqueous humor is present, and this separates the iris to the eye lens. Behind this aqueous humor there is a lens, flexible lens, means it is convex lens. By convex lens is here. It is made up of transparent boundary, inside which a transparent crystalline liquid is there, and this lens is arranged between the vitreous humor and the aqueous humor in terms of a ciliary muscles. in the form of ciliary muscles. This ciliary muscle binds the eye lens to the boundary of the eyeball, inner boundary of the eyeball, and the ciliary muscles can also be relaxed or contract, by which the curvature of the eye lens gets decreased or increased as the requirement. This is done for the accommodation of the focal length of the eye. Now, behind this eye lens, there is a bulk of the eyeball which is filled with a viscous liquid, transparent viscous liquid known as vitreous humor. It is known as vitreous humor. This vitreous humor is essential for providing the shape of the eyeball. Eyeball is filled with this thick liquid, transparent liquid, as a result of which eyeball does not contract easily. Now this vitreous humor is bounded by a hard layer of muscles, means rough and tough muscles, which is composed of 3 layers, in which the innermost layer is photosensitive. Innermost layer is photosensitive and it is called retina. It is called retina. And outermost boundary or layer, outermost layer of this eyeball, which is partially seen from outside, that is white part of the eye seen from outside, is extended throughout the spherical ball, and this is known as a sclera. And inside the sclera there is another layer which is called choroid. So a sclera, choroid and retina, these are 3 layers of the eye cover. From the retina there arise a bunch of or group of nerves known as optic nerves. Optic nerves arise from the different sensitive cells of the retina. Retina has 2 types of photosensitive cells. Retina has 2 types of photosensitive cells, that is rod cells and cone cells. Rod cells are responsible for intensity of light, means perception of intensity of light, and the cone cells are responsible for the perception of color of the light. So how this eyeball or the eye behaves like a camera? See here, the iris acts as a shutter. Iris acts as a shutter. It controls the amount of light entering into the eye, or which falls or incident on the eye lens. So iris is a shutter. Cornea allows light to enter into the eyes, from cornea, light passes to the aqueous humor, then aqueous humor to the eye lens, and then pupil, and from pupil to the eye lens. Now, as light rays coming from the object enters into the eyeball through the eye lens, the rays get refracted. After refraction through the convex lens, these refracted rays passes or falls on the inner membrane of the eyeball, that is retina. There is a active site on the retina where the inverted image of the object is formed, which is real, inverted and smaller than the size of the object. But how the image is formed there? When light passes through the eye lens, there is a approximately perfect distance between the eye lens and the eye lens and the retina. It is approximately equal to the focus. So the object, the image of the object get focused on the retina. As the nature of the lens, as it is convex, so it forms an inverted and real image, and here retina acts as a screen. Retina acts as a screen. Now, when image is formed on the retina, the photosensitive cells get activated, and this activation of the photosensitive cells gets converted into electric impulses, and these impulses are received by the nerves arising from the retina. But the part of the retina from where the optic nerves arise do not form image there. This part of the retina is devoid of rod cells and cone cells. That is why this point is also known as black spot. This is called black spot. So in this way, eye works as a camera. Now the sensation received by optic nerves in the form of electric impulse sends the message or the formation of image, information of the image to the brain. This is known as optic nerves, and this optic nerves is here acts as a receptors. Now the receptor sends the message to the brain interpret this and sends the meaning of the image to us to see the objects further in erect form via motor nerves. So motor nerves sends the message to the eyes again to look the things not inverted but erect. This is the function of brain in this case, because if the image is exactly displayed on the screen, it would be, it would have an inverted image. But actually we see the things erect. So this inversion of the image is controlled by the brain. So this is all about the structure of eyes and functioning of the eyes. Now we will discuss about the defects of eyes further, and before this, another term related to the eyes is accommodation, power of accommodation. Now what is power of accommodation? Power of accommodation, it is the ability of an eye to focus the image on the retina, to focus to control the focal length of the eye lens, so that image should always be formed on the retina. We know for a glass lens, its focal length is fixed. If we have a particular lens, its focal length is given or its focal length is fixed. Suppose that the focal length of a convex lens is 20 centimeter. It will always be 20 centimeter wherever it is placed. But what happens to the eyeball? Eye lens. Eye lens is not a glass lens. It is flexible. It is composed of a transparent viscous liquid bounded by two transparent membrane, living membrane of the muscles, which is also transparent. So due to the action of iris, due to the action of ciliary muscles through which the eye lens is held inside the eyeball, the curvature of the eye lens can be increased or decreased. So when we see the object which is placed nearby, what happens? The object is nearer to the eye. In this case, when we observe the object placed nearby the eye, just like we are going to read the book, in this case, the letters printed on the paper, on the page, acts as an object. Now, power of accommodation means the focal length of the eye lens must be such that the image should always be formed on the retina. If we see the distant object which is far away from the eyes, what happens in this case? We see the object when eye lens gets flattened, means gets narrow, its thickness gets reduced and the focal length gets increased. In this case, the eye lens adjusts its focal length for the distant object whose image will always be formed at focus. So it is the power of eyes, power of eye lens to adjust the focal length according to the place of the position of the object, where nearer or farther. So this is known as the power of accommodation, means it is the power of eyes lens to accommodate the focal length according to the position of the object, whether nearer or the farther. This is known as power of accommodation.